A Swedish comedic film titled The Year I Started Masturbating follows a woman in her mid-40s as she experiences a midlife crisis. Played by Katja Winter. Played by Hannah, the protagonist, her life takes a dramatic turn when she suddenly finds herself without a job, a boyfriend, and an apartment. Hannah meets Liv, an eccentric stranger, while she is trying to put her life back together. Liv encourages Hannah to find herself through masturbation, which leads to a series of hilarious plot twists and a fascinating character arc. According to Hannah, this film is a fun, uplifting tale that focuses on women. Here is all the information you need about the ending if you're interested in seeing how this journey of self-actualization unfolds. Hannah. You should be aware that this video contains spoilers. Hannah and Morten enjoy a romantic evening out on the town, a rare opportunity to spend quality time together without their young son Eli. Hannah says she just spent a pretty penny on a couch. Morten was surprised by the swan. But she made a big financial decision without asking him, and that irritates Morten. Hannah wants another child and is ovulating later that night, so she seduces Martin. But Morten is against having more children because he thinks Hannah's hectic work schedule leaves her little time for her loved ones. When Hannah's boss Stofan gives her a raise and promotes her to the position of national representative, she tries to quit the following day. However, she is stopped in her tracks. But after receiving a call from Morten, Hannah manages to persuade herself to leave. After that, Hannah and Eli pay a hospital visit to Morten after learning that he was in a minor accident in a medical facility. After an argument, Morten dumps Hannah because he doesn't think they can be together. So, Hannah vacates his apartment and visits Caroline, her best friend. But Caroline is so mad at Hannah for skipping the naming ceremony for her baby that she won't even let her stay with her. When Hannah's mother is unable to console her. After reconnecting with Layla, a high school pal, she decides to crash at her place. Hannah and Liv eventually run into each other in a bar, where they immediately hit it off. Hannah takes an unidentified young man back to Layla's house and they sleep together after Liv tells her to follow her heart and sex drive. Hannah is discovered in her living room undressed with an unknown man the following morning by Layla and her family. Hannah is evicted from their home and has to hastily meet with Eli's teacher while wearing her undressed from the previous night and wearing high heels, as she was caught red-handed. Hannah and Liv go out to lunch after the disastrous meeting, and Liv ends up teaching Hannah a lesson on masturbation on the spot. Hannah goes to her parents' house and stays in her former bedroom because she has no other choice. The following day, she goes back to her previous place of employment and tries to regain her position. Despite this, Stofan offers Hannah a position as an astronaut's assistant and informs her that he has already hired Aspirin, an ex-intern, for her position. At the same time, Caroline's refusal to communicate with Hannah further strains their friendship. Following Liv's recommendation, Hannah finally gets her own apartment and orders Raspberry Cave, an audiobook about vaginal sex, and a sex toy. Following her first ever masturbation while listening to the book, Hannah learns that self-satisfaction can change her life. Is Hannah's employment reinstated following her initial masturbation incident? When Hannah's current employer, Aspirin, decides to let her go, she goes back to her previous job as an assistant. The project's vision document is based on Hannah's previous unfinished work, according to Ola, one of the team members. He concludes that, despite the fact that Hannah isn't responsible for the work, it would be best if she did it. Even so, Hannah is still an Aspirin-dependent assistant. Confidence in her sexuality grows in Hannah as she continues to discover sex independence. Her self-assurance seeps into every part of her daily life. On one occasion, Hannah was listening to her audiobook on the job when her Bluetooth unintentionally linked to the office speakers. So, everyone in the office gets a sneak peek at what Hannah reads. But Hannah decides to be honest about it and makes a comedic list of masturbation's benefits for her co-workers. As Hannah develops her sense of identity and self-assurance, Stofan eventually offers her her previous position again. Regardless, he tells Hannah that she's the best candidate for the position. Not only that, but he admits that Aspirin dropped out of a study in Riverside, California. But at the beginning of the story, Hannah turns down the offer. Because of her demanding job, Hannah's personal life is in shambles. So, Hannah informs Stefan that she has decided to settle for mediocrity in her career rather than strive to be the best. She thinks her male co-worker Ola works with apathetic devotion and produces mediocre reports, in contrast to herself. So that she can have a less taxing job and a better work-life balance, Stefan eventually gives in to her demands and assures her that they will find a solution. In an effort to boost morale, he also intends to include pleasure breaks at work. Is Hannah and Martin reconciled? Hannah's midlife crisis begins just before she turns 40 and is triggered by her relationship with Martin, which has hit a dead end. Regardless, Hannah is relentless in her attempts to mend fences with Martin and re-establish the security of her previous relationship. So she can accomplish this goal, she talks Martin into going to therapy with her. For the benefit of Eli, Hannah needs Martin to maintain a healthy relationship because they have a child together. But Martin says in treatment that he has no interest in getting back together with Hannah. Martin begins dating Nurse Lewis shortly after. Similarly, Hannah and Adam cross paths at Hannah's office building. After that, Martin gives Hannah a call shortly after a couch arrives at his house in the Swan. He summons Hannah to come and retrieve it. Hannah drives a van by Martin's house. She has gained self-assurance through masturbation. Since Hannah was the one who paid for the painting, she also asks to take it with her while she's there. By moving on from her past with Martin, Hannah shows that she is free of her past. Adam approaches her on their first date, and she eventually tries to pursue a relationship with him. Adam later clarifies that he was with his cancer-stricken mother on the date they had planned. With the intention of giving Adam another opportunity, Hannah extends an invitation to supper at her apartment. But Adam tells Hannah he wants to have a family after he learns about his mother's death. He breaks up with Hannah over the phone because of her age. When Hannah seeks guidance from a live expert, she advises Hannah to stop worrying about men and concentrate on herself instead. In the near future, Martin plans to have lunch with Hannah and expresses his desire to reconcile. He goes so far as to suggest having another child so they can provide Eli with a family. Martin gets out of his sticky situation with Hannah, dumping her and making her leave his house. By doing this, Hannah doesn't say no to Martin's proposal because she loves Eli and wants to start a family. But she assures Martin that she would rather things remain as they are now than go back to the old way. Hannah is now capable of standing on her own 2 feet. She has always felt secure in her relationship with Martin, but she is now unwilling to give in to his demands. The movie ends with Hannah and Martin not being together. Hannah discovers joy in her own company as she embarks on a path of self-discovery. Adam longs to reassert his presence in Hannah's life after witnessing her success in her absence. Hannah and Martin's potential future together is hinted at the film's end. However, they probably wouldn't have much luck or happiness together. Alright, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and want to see more daily content like this. Please be well.